Hello guys, welcome to Co Academy. Guys, in a previous lecture we talked that there were many various gender theories, and those gender theories included functional theory, conflict theory, symbolic interaction theory, and lastly feminist theory. Now in this video we'll be talking in detail about feminist theory, which is the fourth of the basically gender theory. Okay, so what is feminist theory? Feminist theory. So basically, there are four subcategories of feminist theory. Remember, feminist theory is a subcategory of gender theory, gender theories, which try to locate gender in the society. And then feminist theory, there are four subcategories. But what do feminist theories all have in common? Feminist theories try to locate reality and society through women's experiences. When you study sociology, you try to study certain social facts and realities in the society, whereas when you're talking about gender studies and especially feminist theories, you're talking and you're trying to observe society and social realities through women's experiences. I mean, this is a new dimension from which you could have never you could have never seen the society. For example, whenever you're talking about modern capitalism, you talk about it in terms of class based social stratification. That is, one is the capitalist class, which owns the factors of production, and the other is the labor class, which works. Whereas feminists would try to see it like, what about the two classes in the capitalist structure, being one is the women and the other is the men. Now male go out and they take part in the economic activity, and they are paid wages for that, whereas women work all the day at homes, but they are not paid any wages in compensation, and they are doing a thankless job. Well, that is also a very good perspective at looking at the modern capitalist system. So that is what feminist theories try to do. Okay, they try to see the realities and the society from the women's eyes, okay, and their experiences. So feminist theory is the extension of feminism into theoretical and philosophical discourse to understand the nature of gender inequality. So, what is feminism? Feminism, we talked that it was a movement to secure women different political, economic, and social rights. Okay. Now, theory, talking about theory, feminist theory is an extension of feminism into theoretical and philosophical discourses. Whenever you understand a social problem and you try to analyze it, you often take the take strength from theories, which, and feminist theory are essentially all about that. They incorporate feminism into theoretical and philosophical discourses to understand the nature of gender inequality. So we understand, feminists understand that there is gender inequality, but what are the reasons for that gender inequality? Well, for that, some feminists employ various theories, and each theory has its own set of assumptions to basically discuss the current situation of gender inequality. Moving on, feminist theory was first introduced by Elizabeth Cady Stanton in 1848. Okay, she was the first lady who advocated and who put forth feminist theory. Uh, Feminist theory supports the argument of men and women being equal economically, socially, and politically. So, in our current society, we all know that women are marginalized equally, women are marginalized economically, socially, and politically. Whereas feminists believe that women and men are equal, and hence they should be meted out equal treatment in economic, social, and political spheres. Feminist theory puts emphasis on the acceptance of the fact that gender and gender relations are fundamental to all social life, including the lives of men and women. So, this is exactly what we talked about earlier, that feminists basically put emphasis that one should accept, that is, the society and especially men should accept that gender and gender relations are fundamental to all social life. That is, let's suppose that men go out and work, okay, and they earn money, but how about seeing this activity, economic activity, from the lens of gender relations? That is, how would it be possible for men to go out and do the work and earn money if women were not at home and looking after their kids and performing unpaid labor? So that is how gender approach, basically it studies gender relations, and they believe that gender relations affect all the areas of social life, be it socializing, be it going out for work or anything. Moving on, feminist theory tries to understand the gender relation between a man and a woman and to understand the discrimination that exists in society because of the public-private dichotomy. So once again, feminists believe that there's discrimination because society is basically segregated or stratified in such a way that women are given private domain, that is to stay at homes and to bear and rear the children, whereas men have the public domain. They go out and they work and they earn their livelihood. So they say that this very dichotomy, public-private dichotomy, results in discrimination. Okay, because men ultimately get the resources, they have access to the resources, and whoever have access to the resources, they become powerful, and hence this results in patriarchy. Men become powerful. So remember that feminist theory never tries to understand. They never try to basically just study women. That is not the case. They try to study both men and women and the relations between them, because you cannot study those who are oppressed without studying the one who is the oppressor, or who is the oppressor in the society. So it's all about, feminist theories are all about studying the relations between the genders. Feminist theory analyzes the status of women and men in society with reference to access to resources, position, and privileges. So once again, they different theorists, different feminist theories put forth different propositions as to why women do not have access to resources and positions and privileges. And lastly, feminist theory questions the subordinate or inferior position attributed to women on the basis of their biology. That is, just because we are male or female, we should not be accorded inferior or superior statuses. There is a famous saying in feminism that biology is not destiny. Uh, Simone de Beauvoir, early feminist writer, in her book The Second Sex, which she wrote in 1949, said famously that one is not born a woman, but one becomes one. So, biologically, we are born as male or female, but when it comes to socialization and ultimately man and woman, those are not biological characteristics. We actually are socialized into becoming a man or a woman. So, that is what exactly she is saying, that one is not born a woman, but one becomes one. Feminist theory critically examines the intersections of multiple forms of stratifications. Remember, the core aspect of feminist theories is the stratification based upon gender. That is, there is gender division of labor, women in private domain and men in public domain. But feminist theories also critically examine the intersections of multiple forms of transactions. For example, let's suppose a woman from a minority community. Now that woman is basically in a double jeopardy position. She's in a subordinate position because she is from ethnic minority, and she's doubly disadvantaged because she's also a woman. Same goes for class, women from lower classes, and same goes for those women from those races who are actually subordinate in a particular society. So feminists try to they try to understand the status of women, disadvantaged status of women, by cutting across different forms of stratifications. As a result of feminist theory, there was a shift from gender as a fixed category to a social construct. It varies from time to time. It varies from society to society. So, with feminist theory, gave a new perspective that gender is not a fixed category like male or female. Gender is something else. They basically try to convey, and they try to put forth that gender and sex are two different categories. Sex is a biological, yes, ascribed status, but gender is a social construct. You basically socialize and bring up kids into being men or women. But this concept changes from time to time. For example, if you talk about men wearing chudidar pajamas back in the Mughal era, then at that time it was considered a masculine thing, whereas if now women wear chudidar pajamas, now it's considered a being a feminine thing. So it varies from society to society and time to time. For example, in the Western society, women wearing jeans, it's not considered something as masculine, whereas in a traditional Eastern societies, and in the developing countries, for example, women wearing jeans is considered a feminine trait, so it's looked down upon. So in the next video, we'll be talking about the several purposes of the feminist theories. Okay, in these videos, we talked about what feminist theory was and what were the different aspects which feminist theories looked into. Now, in the next video, we'll be talking about the purposes. Thanks for watching, and do subscribe if you like the video.